Hello, everybody. It's nice to see everybody. My name is Laura Rinankowski, and I'm an international astrological life and relationship coach. I coach in English, Spanish, Finnish, and Italian. And I'm not an astrologer, but I know a lot about astrology, and that's why I give these talks. And today I'm going to be talking about the full wolf moon in Cancer, which is happening today. So it's a very powerful, intense, emotional full moon. So if you're feeling overwhelmed and if you're feeling emotional, it's completely natural. And actually, the moon in Cancer, it's actually my moon. My moon is in Cancer, so I feel this moon in a very intense way. There's actually many things happening today at the same time because not only is it the full moon in Cancer, it's also Blue Monday, which is supposed to be one of the saddest days of the year, just because it's January, and in many places it's cold and dark and all of that. So if you're feeling down and emotional, it goes with the territory. And then Mercury is retrograde and Venus is retrograde as well. So there's a lot of energies happening at the same time. So whatever you're feeling, remember to be, remember to be gentle with yourself. Remember to be kind with yourself. So, because anything that you're feeling gets magnified and gets more intense during a full moon. So whatever you're feeling, allow it, and yeah, be kind and gentle with yourself at all times. All right, so under the Cancer full moon, which occurs today, Monday, the 17th of January, we know what's shared begins in the celestial sphere and moves down into our atmosphere. We know that when the moon is full, she'll be opposite Pluto in Capricorn, as well as the sun. So Pluto's in Capricorn right now, and that has a major impact and effect on us as well, because Pluto brings out everything that's in the shadows, everything that's in our shadows. So whatever unresolved things we have, come out during Pluto. And when Pluto's in Capricorn, Capricorn is an earth sign. It's a very rational, practical sign. So it brings out things that are unfinished in many different ways. So so be on the lookout for that. And if we are to believe the ones who study the movements of the cosmos, we know that the sun is a planet that lends vitality to the planet that it's near, though not too near. So what powers does the sun stir in Pluto? Well, Pluto reminds us that we all do have a mess. It brings out our prima materia, which is our primal material, from the shadows. So it connects us to our shadow. So if you have things that are coming up from the past, it's very normal now, because that's what Pluto does. And a full moon in Cancer will bring up a lot of emotions as well. So there's a lot of energies happening at once right now. So full moons occur when our beloved brilliant moon stands at her brightest light. And just before this presentation, I went outside, and the full moon in Cancer is incredibly bright, and I was able to see it because there was no clouds. So so it looks amazing, and it's really, really bright and luminous. These periods tend to represent turning points, culminations, endings, or awakenings. So full moons, can signify all of these things. They are especially emotional, especially when the full moon is in Cancer, and start to creep up on us a few days prior and echo for the week that follows them. So today the moon is completely full in Cancer, but we can feel the effects, a couple of days before the full moon and a couple of days after the full moon as well. Full moons are connected to new moons, and this particular one will echo the themes, situations, and discussions that began near the 9th of July 2021. So reflect back on that period and see how much progress you've made since then. So think back to what was happening in your life on the 9th of July of last year. It might be connected to something that's happening in your life right now. The wolf moon was originally named for the howls in the nights that could often be heard near this time. You know, the wolves that howl at the moon. So the wolf moon this year is also a full moon in Cancer. This water sign's energy will crackle through the air. Often this encourages us to dig deep into our emotions and become reflective on our heritage, the past, and how stable our domestic life is. You know, Cancer is all about your home life as well. So things in your home will be highlighted as well. Situations around family and real estate often emerge near this time too. As Cancer is a very moody and sensitive zodiac sign, our feelings will be of primary concern now. So yeah, the main thing right now is that, you know, your feelings will be very highlighted. So no matter what you're feeling, you know, it's going to be magnified and highlighted. The full moon of January has many names that have trickled down from Native American culture and proliferated through the Farmer's Almanac. Other names for this lunation are also the center moon, the cold moon, the frost exploding moon, for the freeze up moon, the severe moon, the hard moon, the Canada goose moon, the great moon, the greetings moon, and the spirit moon. So, you know, you can take your pick and call it whatever kind of moon you want. But of course, it's easier to call it the full wolf moon in Cancer. So this full moon has a unique planetary configuration that will trigger powerful, transformative, and intense experiences. You know, one way to describe this full moon is very intense, especially with all the other energies that are happening at the same time. The sun will be united with Pluto, bringing us a desire to assert our dominance and be obeyed. However, with the moon opposed to Pluto, relationship drama and power struggles are also guaranteed. Also, the relationship drama and power struggles are connected to Venus being in retrograde as well, and Mercury being retrograde as well. So yeah, so a lot of you know, there could be a lot of drama in relationships right now. It would be wise to be aware of manipulative, destructive, violent, obsessive, or addictive situations. So wild mood swings are also quite likely. As a saving grace, though, the full moon will be sweetly angled to Neptune, enhancing our creative, romantic, and spiritual energy. So that's kind of like one of the saving graces, right? Neptune, and Jupiter is in Pisces as well, so that helps as well. Connecting with friends, healers, and people who have a compassionate nature can help us to divert some of the more volatile energy swirling at this time. Be sympathetic and kind to others, and surround yourself with those who vibrate brightly rather than those who encourage darker energy. So of course, be sympathetic and kind to yourself first, and then be sympathetic and kind to others. Because the more, you know, kindness you give out, the more you're going to receive as well. Especially during such an emotional and volatile full moon in Cancer. So what better time to use our past experiences as a breeding ground for insights than when the moon is full in Cancer, her cosmic home. So of course, insight isn't as readily available or compact as an old journal or a shoebox of memories. But more Cancerian placements grip tightly to those very things, holding the evidence of their experiences and past selves as sacrosanct. And perhaps it's this very grip on the past, as we want to remember it, the tight lid of it, that keeps us from being close to it. Obsession is antithetical to intimacy, but Pluto is opposite to the moon. To love something is to strive to see it every day as it is, not as it was or as we hope it to be. To cling tightly to a story frozen in time about yourself, about another person, about love, about a country, is to refuse the living story and the ones who live it. Pluto in Capricorn is structural. It means to strip the house down to the bones and uncover the skeletons beneath it. It's a reminder that our compulsions run deeper than one workshop or retreat can cure. They run deep down into the essence of who we are and how we were raised. They are historical.
So yeah, a lot of things can come up from the past. You know, wounds from the past can come up now, and of course, when wounds come up, you know, they come up to be healed, right? But yeah, it can definitely be a very intense time right now emotionally. So Venus in Capricorn continues her retrograde cycle through Capricorn in the midst of these negotiations between what we value within ourselves and what we can expect from others, applying a trine to Uranus and Taurus, which stations direct the day after the full moon. Mercury, meanwhile, applies a waning trine to Uranus and has stations retrograde in Aquarius, the sign of the collective, the sign of humanity and interdependence, which is a kind of hope. So yeah, so Mercury is retrograde in Aquarius right now. And Aquarius is a very humanitarian sign as well. Mercury retrograde, as we know by now, you know, I've spoken a lot about Mercury retrograde in these chats, doesn't mean a time of stagnancy. It's a time of retracing, reestablishing. It's a purposeful return to the present moment. It's the same within us and between us to understand how we got here and how far we've left to go. We have to account for our personal and collective histories. Even if the evidence of the past casts our most intimate stories and solemnized experiences in a new light, even if it hurts. So during Mercury retrograde, which we're in right now, and it ends on the 3rd of February, Mercury retrograde is a time to go inwards. And it's a time that there can be a lot of communication problems in terms of there can be miscommunication when you're talking to people in relationships. And then you can have like all kinds of technological issues with your computer and flights being delayed and things like that. So that's very typical of things that happen during Mercury retrograde. But it's not something to be scared of. I mean, it's good to have the awareness that it's happening right now, and just to be like extra cautious and careful with everything that you're doing and everything that you're saying as well. And it's also like a chance to go within yourself even more. So now I'm going to talk about how the different signs are going to be affected by the full wolf moon in Cancer. So for Aries, this full moon may have you feeling domestic, Aries, falling in your 4th house of home, family, and foundations. While you're busy making lofty resolutions to take over the world, La Luna sits you down in your favorite comfy chair for a stern but motherly chat. Focus on self-care, inner child healing, and family bonds under the lights of this moon. For Taurus, with the full moon in Cancer lighting up your 3rd house of communication and information, your mind might be abuzz right now, Taurus. You can harness this energy by getting clear on your intentions for 2022, with the potential for major insights. This full moon can plant the seeds of important conversations and collaborations with kindred spirits that will unfold in the coming weeks. For Gemini, productivity is the name of the game for you under this full moon, Gemini, firing up your 2nd house of work, money, and security. This makes it a great time for setting up practical daily habits and routines. When you land on something you'd like to do consistently, make it a regular practice, a daily devotion. The 2nd house also rules values, so consider how yours have or haven't changed. Cancer. This first full moon of 2022 just so happens to be in your sign, Cancer, and as such, your 1st house of beginnings and identity as well. You may feel catapulted into action around a personal goal or passion project as the moon spotlights your dreams and desires, and now's the time to roll with it. Record your resolutions and post them somewhere visible, the fridge, your mirror, to keep them on top of mind. Leo. Full moons are all about letting go, Leo, and that's especially true for you this time around, as the moon lights up your 12th house of healing, closure, and transitions. A situation you've been forcing or a pattern you've been clinging to does not belong in this brand new calendar year. No amount of guilt, rationalization, or denial will prevent circumstances from putting that truth right in your face today. Virgo. There's no I in Team Virgo, and that couldn't be more true for you under the light of this full moon, which lands in your 11th house of teamwork and technology. As such, it could reveal new ways you can team up to make the daily grind easier and a lot more interesting. Just watch out for ego trips and power struggles, even subtle ones, because this full moon will oppose shadowy Pluto in your dramatic 5th house. Libra. You're in for a stride-making full moon, Libra, as it powers up your 10th house of career, goals, and recognition. This energy can position you for a public role or a leadership position, and could also shed light on a relationship with an important man in your life. Expressing your feelings either directly to him or by venting to a supportive friend can be cathartic. Scorpio. Time to look at the big picture, Scorpio, as the full moon in Cancer lights up your expansive 9th house, crumpling up the sensible resolutions you half-heartedly chose a couple of weeks ago and widening your lens. Dare to be a little unrealistic and impractical with your visions. With a full moon on your side, pushing beyond your comfort zone could reveal opportunities or perspectives you'd normally miss. Sagittarius. Ready to go deep, Sagittarius? This full moon illuminates your 8th house of intimacy, privacy, and mergers, which could bring about a turning point to some of your closest bonds. A full moon in this emotional zone can bring a lot bubbling up to the surface, to your surprise as much as everyone else's. Let those bottled up feelings move through your system rather than stuffing them down. Aquarius. You might be feeling the healthy New Year spirit under this full moon, Aquarius, as it revs up your 6th house of health and organization. Your desire for self-improvement mapped to a solid system could yield mega results, but don't just focus on the superficial. This full moon sits opposite deep digging Pluto in your 12th house of the subconscious, so exploring a mind-body-soul connection could help you set goals that stick. Pisces. Passions are flaring for you under the light of this full moon, Pisces, as it lights up your expressive and creative 5th house. If you've been bottling anything up, it could come out now, so a little dramatic flair could serve you well at this time. At its best, this fertile, flamboyant full moon can energize a relationship or awaken your inner artist. So thank you. May this full wolf moon in Cancer illuminate you in the best way. I offer coaching sessions in English, Spanish, Finnish, and Italian. You can get in touch with me if you'd like a session. You can email me at lauracoaching@gmail.com. My website is laurawidenkowski.com. And my Wake Up to Your True Potential YouTube series, the link is there. Please subscribe, like, comment, and share with your friends. Help me get to 1,000 subscribers. So I will stop sharing. I'll stop the recording.